Okay, the first thing that Twitter wants to know about is that supplemental draft, Bernie. Tell us about it and how you got to Cleveland.
The supplemental draft brings back quite a few awesome memories for me. I was a sophomore in college at the University of Miami. I do the U Matter from the University of Miami, but it really is something that's carried with me now in terms of being special and telling everybody that they matter, that you matter. But back at the University of Miami, I'm so proud that it's a top 50 academic institution in our great country right now. But back in the early 80s, college football and the University of Miami's academically was a little bit different than it was today. And you needed to graduate college back in the 80s, 70s and 80s to leave early to go to the draft and stuff. So I still had 2 years left, my junior and senior year, but I was about to graduate in finance from the business school at UM. And if you remember back to the university, to Northeastern Ohio and the late 70s, in the 50s and 60s, there was a manufacturing awesomeness of the steel mills and manufacturing in Northeast Ohio. In the 70s, almost like today, the manufacturing within our country was really dissipating. The jobs, they weren't there. So unfortunately, the Kosar family, I'd like to tell you, we're an illustrious elite people that have, but really we've been laborers within the steel mills through the majority of the generations since my grandfathers came over from Eastern Europe back a couple century, last century. And not having jobs and then being able, I didn't even think I was going to be able to go to college. So to go to college on an academic football scholarship and get the degree, and then my father had pointed out to me that I had the opportunity to graduate. You had to graduate then to come back. But I was only 21 years old. So I'd like to tell you I was an adult, like to tell you I was able to take care of myself. I really wasn't. So always being a Browns fan, really being a mommy's boy, wanting to come home to mom, knowing that she would be around, be able to take care of it, be able to help my family out, being able to play for my boyhood team. My dad had figured out a way for me to graduate and then end up really where I wanted to go, because the supplemental draft, the rules have changed since then. But back then, you could trade picks and trade the picks. So Buffalo had the first pick of the supplemental draft. They also had the first pick of the regular draft. Back then, teams signed the first player sometimes. So Bruce Smith had the great defensive end.
Big Sexy.
Yeah, Big Sexy, who's tattooed multiple broken bones all over my body. But
and by the way, we're going to have him on the show at some point,
oh,
too.
we'll absolutely have him on the show because he crushed and sacked me so many times. And my mentor, Jim Kelly, one of the toughest dudes at the U, who was one of the guys who taught me not to wear a mouthpiece so I don't have back teeth and stuff. And amazing, actually got the Super Bowl ring from Dallas playing against those guys.
You would rub in that ring.
Oh, those are amazing football players. To go to 4 Super Bowls like that, to play like they did, and we competed. We didn't tell them this when we played against them, but they were amazing. And we're going to have them on the show because we never lost to them when we started. So we were 6-0 against them, top dog.
That's right.
So we're absolutely. I won't be articulating that message when I invite them to come on the show. I'll be playing a lamb chop for that.